Welcome back to my podcast, Filmmaking, Actually. Ta-da! So I wanted to do another little quick podcast episode about something that is very rampant in the film industry, and probably in a lot of other industries too. But specifically in film, it's a little weird because so many film projects are just friends coming together, or they're people kind of like throwing their hat in the ring, doing a film challenge, working together as students, or otherwise kind of wild westing it and not necessarily part of any sort of regulated, you don't go through HR training before you go on set. But here's the thing. It's my opinion that one of the biggest differentiations between studio projects and independent projects is just general professionalism. And I've run into it, working on an indie project where I wanted to have 2 production meetings, a whopping 2, before we got on set. And one of the people that we were collaborating with was like, I really just want to be on set and have fun. And I was like, well, that's cool, but we also have a project to finish and we have to make sure we know what we're doing. And I would like to have fun also, which is why I would like to be prepared. Doing that prep work, being prepared, it is how you then do have fun because you're not scrambling or running around with all the chaos that independent film is so notorious for, unfortunately. That said, as an independent filmmaker, we don't really have professionalism standards being held up for us. Some people have gone to film school, some people haven't. There aren't work regulations. If you're working on a union project, then there is the union guidelines. But even then, it's a little bit of a Wild West type situation. That doesn't mean that people have to act like it all the time. And especially when it comes to things like flirting, hitting on people, making jokes, being inappropriate. If you're hanging out with friends and you're all friends and that's your friend group, that's one thing. But as soon as you start bringing in other people, you now have, a level of manners that really should exist between people. And whether it's just for the comfort of each other, if you're not someone who understands the concept of manners or why other people might want to feel comfortable around you, think of it as you can avoid a lawsuit if you are polite and, respectful and mutually respectful. And that goes both ways, whether you're being respectful to people who are higher on the totem pole than you, or whether you're being respectful to the people who are supporting your position on the totem pole. So I am kind of focusing on flirting for this because, sometimes these podcast episodes, something will happen, I'll see something and I'll be like, oh, I should do a podcast episode on that. I have 53 episodes that I've written down that I'm going to try to get through. We might start posting more than once a week so that I can get through all of them. But yeah. Sexualization has no place in the workplace in any capacity at all, whether it's with regards to what someone's gender can or can't do, or whether you think someone's competent or capable, whether you're making assumptions about their role based on how they look. Nothing's better than being hired as the director on a project and starting the day with a meeting, going over the outline, you're getting everyone ready, getting the first shot set up. And then finally a PA raises their hand and goes, I'm sorry, who are you? Because the reason the crew is looking at you blankly is they thought you were hair or makeup or wardrobe or talent because you're female and you were wearing a cute outfit. Love that. But it's fine. After we worked for a little bit, yeah. You can't hug people closely, whisper in their ear, lean into their personal space, touch them without their permission. You are in a professional work environment, and that work environment needs to be respected. If you want to connect outside of work, fine. But, sitting on people's laps, physical touching, harassing, making comments, making jokes, none of that has any place in a professional work environment. It's just not why you're there. The reason that people are on a film set, hopefully, is to make a film. So everything they're doing should be focused towards getting that film made. Then there's general safety stuff that can get done, if you have to mic an actor or an actress and the sound op is of an opposite gender, or even if they're not, It's always helpful to have at least 3 people. You have whoever is placing the microphone on the talent, you have the talent themselves, and then you have a third person that the talent is comfortable with being present while the microphone gets placed. One of the most professional on-set sound techs that we've worked with, Kyle Jacobson, shout him out every chance we can. He won't, like if there's, the second AD or whoever's handling that role in that moment brings him the talent and then tries to, run off to another task, he'll be like, I'm sorry, I need somebody here while I mic. And I respect that because each person has a responsibility for their responsibilities, basically. If you're on set, if people are changing wardrobe, and we've done, I've had talent who are like, oh, I don't care. And they just rip off their shirt in the middle of set to just change wardrobe real quick. It's like, no, go to where wardrobe is, go get changed. Like there's other people on set that might not be comfortable with that. The main thing with manners and with, etiquette and thoughtfulness is that it's not about you. It's about the other person. And it's about making a space where people feel comfortable. Maybe you don't care. Maybe you don't care if people are comfortable around you or not. But I will say that one of the most toxic traits of the film industry is that there are so many people who just plow past other people's comfort levels, and it's just not the place for it. It's in any industry. You don't do that. So when you're on set, you want to get flirty with somebody, you want to get their number, you want to lean up on them, do that. Ideally after the project, talk to them about it, be an adult, but when you're in your professional workspace, be a professional worker, be focused on what you're doing, be there to make the movie and be conscientious of it. People, especially in today's world, there's all this like disrupting and disruptors and like, we don't want to have hierarchies and we're all collaborators and we're all friends. Like, that's fine. Being in charge or being professional doesn't mean being a jerk. It doesn't mean making the people around you feel like minions or diminutive or whatever. It just means that you treat them with respect and you don't hug them, touch them, lean in too close. Like, it's almost, on the one hand, it's almost silly, but anyone who's been on set knows there's, it's there, it happens. So this is my super quick episode on remember that when you are on a film set, you are being a professional. You are there for the purpose of making that film. It doesn't mean that it can't be fun. I love being on set. Working on set is like, oh my gosh, if I could just wake up every day and be on set all day long, I would be the happiest person in the world. It's like my happy place. I love it. I'm also there as a professional. I'm also there working. And that doesn't mean I can't be goofy with my friends. It doesn't mean I can't hug my husband or whatever. My husband and I work together, if you haven't, if you don't know that. But at the same time, the reason why roles like an intimacy coordinator has sort of sprung up is because it's important. It's important that people feel safe, that people feel comfortable, that people don't feel like their space is getting invaded. And whether or not that's something that you relate to, it doesn't matter, totally bluntly, because it's not about you. I'm sure there is something that if it was shoved in your face, you would be like, oh my gosh, I really don't want to see that, or I don't want that, or I would prefer not to be a part of that. And for other people, maybe it's sexual advances that aren't wanted or, other kind of behavior. So I do think it's really important. It's not a conversation that I hear like ever outside of sort of very niche conversations that are specifically about, over-sexualization in the workplace or coming from the HR department or, that type of thing. And I don't think it should be that niche. I think it should just be a kind of very general, very understood thing that when you're on set, you're not there to hook up with people. You're there to work and you're there to do your job. And if you see people who are acting inappropriately and you're in a position where you can talk to them about it, talk to them about it. If someone is kind of like being a little too friendly, you can just say like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable with that. Or I would appreciate if you gave me some space, or whatever language or wording that you're comfortable with. I think that it's really important that people feel comfortable standing up for themselves. People feel comfortable holding space for other people to not be made to feel uncomfortable. And, yes, on union sets, there are a little bit more regulations. You have more sort of like phone numbers you can call to get help. It shouldn't take a union to tell people to not be terrible people. It really shouldn't. So this is my call to everybody who is working on film sets. Be there, be awesome, have fun, love what you do, love the people that you're working with, but love them platonically unless they are in agreement with a different dynamic. And yeah, let's go make some amazing movies in a very professional setting where people feel comfortable and excited to be there and safe in the space and can bring their best creative contributions as artists who feel supported to be there. That's it. All right. Thank you. Bye.
You've been listening to Filmmaking Actually with Koura Linda, Space Dream Productions podcast. Subscribe to us on any or all the podcast platforms. If you like what you hear, leave us 5-star ratings and positive reviews on iTunes. It helps more listeners like you discover the show. But the best thing you can do if you really like the show is tell a friend. Want to leave a comment or ask a question? Email at filmmakingactually@gmail.com. This is Spacey speaking, and remember,
I'm a married woman, these boys view me as just a prune-faced old hen. Not worth her weight in gold.
This is an insane thing to come to HR about.
I am an alpha woman, and as such I have certain needs, okay? And one of those needs is to be flirted with regularly at work.
It's a workplace. That's absolutely not allowed.
and we'll see you next time.